What is up, knuckleheads? So, listen, I decided to go live because that light's kind of weird, but I apologize for that. I'll try to put my big head in front of it. But I wanted to go live just to kind of give you guys an update, ask for your help, and kind of let you know like where we are and what the plan is moving forward for, um, yeah, just everything. Okay. So you've seen me do my videos, kind of bearing my soul to you guys, and a lot of people either say, "Hey, great job," or "Dude, stop doing that." You're a public figure. You're this. You're the brand ambassador for this, and you can't do that. And though I appreciate that counsel, and I appreciate that genuine concern for people telling me not to do it, I'm not being disrespectful to them by not doing it. I am. I'm doing it because it's what my heart tells me to do. It's the relationship I feel like I have with you knuckleheads. And I get this a lot. Hey, if there's anything I can ever do to help, let me know. Okay. And though I'm going to ask for your help in this video, I'm not asking for pity and I'm not asking for charity. I want to genuinely get you guys to support what we're doing by three simple things or three things. Again, if you can. If you can't, don't put yourself out for it. Join KBF because I think it's the best deal in the business. Not only do you get amazing discounts and gift cards that exceed the value of the membership, even at the premium level, I think the ambassador membership is the best deal, especially for these knuckleheads that aren't fishing in trail series events or championships. So consider joining KBF. That's one that's going to help us grow the community. And I'll talk about it in a little bit, but I'm going to do a better job of being a steward of those funds moving forward because I've really screwed up. And, I'll talk about this throughout the video. So bear with me. All right. So that's number one is join KBF. Number two is support the channel by picking up some merch. I'm not pumping the merch. I'm not doing that like a lot of influencers do. And maybe as much as I should, but head over to kayakbassfishing.com, click on the store and pick up either some kayak bass fishing merchandise or some knucklehead merchandise. That really helps support the channel. And then the other thing that you can do is book a guided trip with yours truly. Again, I've said this before. I've got some bookings. I've had a great time. I just did that video with Jackie Tankersley, and we did a lot more talking and teaching than we did fishing, but it still shows that we had a great time and we caught a lot of fish. And I'm really excited about doing the river trips. So you can click on the link in the description box, and I'll also pin it as a comment at the top when I'm done. But I redid my prices because after fishing with Jackie and a couple of other guided trips, I reached out to the people and said, look, I feel like I overcharged you. I didn't realize how much easier it was going to be when you brought your own gear. So now I have a bring your own gear price, and then I got to do everything, price, because I got to do everything price. There's an hour or so, maybe two worth of work ahead of the trip. And then there's a whole bunch of time after the trip that goes into that. So I kind of tried to price it accordingly, but I've redone the pricing on the guided trip. So if you're interested in coming down to North Alabama, fishing with yours truly, the river fishing right now is on fire. I just did a great trip with, I actually did two trips with John from Creek Fishing Adventures. We had a blast. We're really about to ratchet up the promotion and the ways that you can jump in on this Knucklehead Challenge series. We're going to introduce a team component to it so that you can qualify to fish as another team even before the Fishing Chaos fan fish off. So in summary, before I jump into why I'm doing this, there's three things you can really do to help in case you don't watch the whole video. You can join KBF. That really helps support the channel. That's where we get the revenue from to pay the staff and to do the things. We're going to be making some changes so that I can streamline things and so that everything is not so overwhelming. And then I'm going to be reinvesting more into the community and then into the competitions. When I really have done this assessment of how I got in this hole that I was in after the divorce, it's because I was disproportionately spending stuff on trying to be the biggest trail series in the world and the biggest national championship. And people have shared with me why they do the national championship. It's because of the camaraderie. Why do they do this event? Because of the camaraderie. Why do they do that? Because of the community feel. So I'm going to focus more on that instead of this elite crap that I have over focused on for the last few years. I'm going to streamline some things to where I can cut down on costs, but still provide an unbelievable product to anglers. But I want to talk about kind of one of the ways that I got here, just in case there's somebody else out there that needs to hear this. The last 3 years of my marriage, I was actually starting to go through trying to get help, trying to figure out how to fix my head from the PTSD crap, from the stuff in my childhood, from all these other things. And I'm not going to jump into all of that, but here's what I am going to say. And I think it's human nature. And now I've got a lot more empathy for people who've done this than I did before. So as you grow older and as you grow wiser, as they say, the old saying, walk a mile in somebody's shoes, makes it easier for you to understand them. And forever and ever in my life, I would be the guy that said, stop being a victim. Stop being a victim. You're being a victim. Just stop. You can just flip a switch. And the reason I'm bringing that up is as I started going through why my business was failing, why I wasn't successful, why I wasn't getting the same amount of participation that I got, insert anything here in that category of less successful than you were before. I was also going through one of the roughest patches in my life mentally. And so one of the things that I do want to say is that it's okay to not be okay. And I really wanted to go live and do videos and talk about that so that the stigma of, especially where I grew up, it's like men can't ask for help. That's total BS. Okay. If you need help, ask for it. If you need help, seek it. And I did that. But one of the things that I did as I started going through therapy, I actually changed the person or people that I was talking to a couple of times because it got to the point where they were telling me stuff I didn't want to hear. So in other words, the first phase of therapy is figuring out all the things that have happened to you in your life so you can figure out why you are where you are. And then when it got to the point of doing the work and it got hard, I would kind of bail on it, but I took away from it all the reasons why I was there. My friends died. I was abused as a child. This, insert these other things here. And again, I'm not crying in my Wheaties. I'm not looking for, your pity or sympathy or any of that stuff. I want to work to earn my way out of this and to build kayak bass fishing back as a premier brand, as a success story, and to motivate every little redneck country kid, whatever you want to call it out there, that is like me, that grew up in a trailer park and people told them that they couldn't be successful, or you grew up in the ghetto and people told you couldn't be successful, or you grew up in the projects, or whatever you want to call it. Any reason why somebody said you couldn't be successful, I have always wanted to be that shining light that says, no, you can if you put your head down and work. And then here's what happened. As I was going through this fix myself phase, I adopted a victim mentality. Oh, it's that person's fault that I don't have any money, or it's that person's fault that I did this, or it's that person's fault that we're here, or if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be here. And I looked for every excuse under the sun except for looking myself in the face and saying, no, dude, it's you. So as a leader, you can delegate authority. You can give somebody the authority to do something, but you ultimately can never delegate responsibility. And that has been a staple of my existence since I became an adult at a very young age and joined the military and started living that lifestyle. And so this is a cautionary tale. And it's me asking you for your help, because people say it all the time. Hey, if there's anything I could do to help. Yes, there's 3 things. Buy some knucklehead merch, knuckleheads, buy some KBF merch, join kayak bass fishing, and help spread the word for other folks to join so we can build the best community in the world. We can start investing more in resources and product reviews. And what I want to do is I get these offers all the time to do products. And if they're a sponsor conflict, I turn it down. What I could do is say, hey, guys, we have an opportunity to do a product review and give it to you knuckleheads to do it. And then we can post it on our website as a community review. So these things are all coming clear to me now. But the cautionary tale is this. If you are depressed, if you are angry, if you are frustrated, if you're less motivated, if you're all of those things, and you start seeking for help, the number one thing I want you to do is don't look for excuses and reasons why you did it and then adopt those to remove the responsibility from yourself from having gotten there, because you're going to ultimately get back to the point where you're going to have to face the reality that only you can fix it. So you might as well go into it with that mindset. And I really wish somebody would have slapped me in my head early on and said that. And I've got to thank, one of my closest friends on the planet. When I reached out to him and asked him for advice, we got about 3 or 4 minutes into the conversation, and he was like, "Chad, stop, dude. You sound like a victim. You sound like you're blaming everything and everybody but you. You can't shirk the response. You can't offload the responsibility, man." And I'll be honest with you, I was a little miffed during the conversation, but once I got off the phone and I fully digested it and I started really thinking about it, I was like, damn, you know what? He's right. And it was the minute that that thought process entered my mind. It was the minute that that thought process entered my mind that I realized I had to fix it. So it was almost like the Rocky theme started playing in my head. It was almost like the comeback story, or Eminem's like "Lose Yourself" song started playing in my head, and I really started to get motivated. But at the same time, the one thing that I started doing was started going back to saying, I got to get back to the old me. But before I did that, I wanted to look at the old me and say, what are the things about the old me that I don't want to bring back on board? And what are the things about the new me that I want to bring back on board? So I am not kidding you guys. I wrote out a list. What have you ever been accused of? What have you ever acknowledged about yourself? And just write it all on a list. Okay. So I wrote down cocky, arrogant, full of himself, conceited, all those things that you dismiss as an influencer and say, no, I'm not that. You just think that because you're a hater. But I've always said for years and years and years, if one person says something, it's a rumor. Or if one person says something, it's a rumor. If two people's perception is cocky, arrogant, conceited, all of those things, and I lined them out and said, I don't want to be those things. Even if I didn't feel like that, I want to do a better job of not having others perceive that. And so there's ways to be confident without being cocky. There's ways to be, successful without being arrogant. There's ways to do those things. And I really had to realize that my overconfidence in many cases could be perceived that way. Okay. So that was number one. Number two was I backed away from having my hands in and own everything and delegated a lot of stuff, because I read an entrepreneurial book that says you should only do what only you can do. But the problem is I offloaded things onto people that wasn't fair to them, that they didn't have the skills necessary to do, that they weren't. And then, I'll give you an example, with Christy, for example, for sure. As she started doing things and she was doing them well, I was like, sweet, here's more. It's kind of like the old military saying, you know what you get for doing a good job in the military? More work to do, right? And so I did that. And I think I overloaded her. And I think I unloaded myself to where now, that how they say the devil's idle hands are the devil's tool. And I just got in my own head and I spun out. I started to adopt that victim mentality, ironically enough. And this is hard to say because I'm a hypocrite, because over the years I've said, don't be a victim, blah, blah, blah. Only you can fix you, all these other things. And now I can understand and see how easy it is when you start going down this road of depression and anxiety and even anger, where you're mad and then you're depressed and then you're not learning how to grieve. Because for years I thought I had PTSD and I was suppressing it. And to a certain extent I did. Again, I'm not going to get into all the details, but what I really learned is it wasn't as much PTSD as it was that I hadn't learned how to properly grieve. And once I learned how to properly grieve, it was kind of like when you're picking at the dam and there's a little leak and eventually you pick it to where the whole thing busts loose. Well, when it busted loose, it busted loose. And I didn't have the skills to deal with it. So it further perpetuated that victim mentality. It further perpetuated that, that snowball effect of trying to unload responsibility, trying to feel sorry for myself and all of those things. And again, against the better advice of people out there, against even me talking myself into and out of doing this video numerous times. And the whole reason that I'm doing it live is to say that I'm sitting in an Airbnb right now that a friend of mine let me stay in to come up and do the Chickamauga event. I just loaded up a bunch of trophies. I'm going over to the award ceremony in a minute to recognize anglers and their accomplishment. And a gentleman had a truck problem. And in his truck problem, he submitted his refund request, and he submitted it late. So per the rules, it was like, sorry, it's too late for the refund. And in his request, he wasn't combative. He just said, look, man, I know what the rules are, and I understand that you're also going through some financial constraints right now, but with my truck breaking down, I really need that money. So if there's anything you can do, and in the past, I probably would have said, sorry, man, if I allow you to do it, then this, it's going to snowball and everybody's going to have a bad first day, or they're going to, pre-fish and have a bad day and say, oh, I got truck problems. I got to go home and pull out of the tournament. But I really was in the right mindset to hear what this angler was saying and understand it, because I had truck problems myself yesterday or day before yesterday, yesterday, both actually. And so I gave the guy a refund, and it felt good. And then when I told him I was giving him the refund, his response was, sorry, I couldn't make it. I really appreciate you, and thank you for doing what you do for the sport. And I was just sitting here, and I got that calm that came over me. I watched Life Church this morning and got that spirit-filled, shoulder back thing that makes you feel like you can do more. And I've had a great week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, since I really had this realization that, like, nobody's fixing this for you, bro. I am asking for your help because this is a community. We do work together. But, you got yourself into this crap. You got to get yourself out of it. And the only way to do it is to put your head down and work. Am I out of the woods yet? Absolutely not. Is KBF going to struggle the next 2-3 months? Absolutely. But is KBF going to survive? You're damn right it's going to survive. And not only is it going to survive, but we're going to make it better. And the reason we're going to make it better is I'm going to remove the self-absorbed, cocky asshole that used to run it and replace him with a humbled guy that has a different perspective now, has a different approach now. And they say you grow through what you go through. And they say that, God will never put more on you than you can handle. And I got to say that there's a few times that I thought, man, this is it. One more thing and I won't be able to hold. And then one more thing would happen and I would still hold. And so it was kind of one of those things there. I've got some great friends out there that hit me up at the right time. I've got some great friends that are there when I need them. There's been some amazing response with helping, rebuild the HQ. And I just look at it and say, like, all these things couldn't be happening. It's too many coincidences for all of these things to happen if there wasn't a reason, if I wasn't supposed to be. And guys, I want you to understand, I'm not reading the comments, responding to the comments, because I don't want you guys to think this is scripted or I'm telling you what you want to hear. And that's the whole reason I decided to do it as a live video is it is off the cuff. It is off my chest. It is off the top of the dome. And it's just me saying, have I thought about shutting KBF down? Absolutely. Have I thought about just saying, I just want to make YouTube videos. Me and my son have a great time, ride off into the sunset. I just want to do my TV show. But I've been blessed by this community. And I started it wanting to give back, but at the same time, I was giving back, and there was some ego involved at the same time. And as I've backed up from it, and I've eaten that gigantic slice of humble pie, been shot in the face with it, I am at peace with where I'm at right now, and I'm at peace with the path to where we need to go. Not to say get back on top, because again, that's ego driven, but to say, let's make this community what it should have been. Let's make it what it could be. Let's make it beneficial. Let's use it for good. Let's use it for uplifting each other instead of tearing each other down. There's plenty of divisiveness out there. There doesn't need to be this angler on angler or fisherman on fisherman crap, because there's too many people trying to do that to us already. And I've got a renewed sense of what my purpose is, what my mission is, what you guys mean to me as a family. what I think I mean to some of you knuckleheads as a family. And I think I've got a better finger on the pulse of what I should be doing. I've been all over the place the last 3 years with this channel, just throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks, because I've been listening to what works better on YouTube. Oh, you got to do this video, you got to do that video. And here's what I'm going to tell you guys. I'm going to do the videos I want to make and the videos that you want to see. And I think they fit in 3 categories. Tips that help you get better and save money or be better. So tips, I hate that word, but you know what I'm saying. Tips or tricks or whatever to help you save money, do lure modifications and things like that, or tactics, tips and tactics, approaches to catching fish. Then I'm going to do product reviews, honest, genuine product reviews, as well as community-driven product reviews that are a benefit to you. This is what's great about this kayak. This is what's not so great about it. You've seen me, even with companies I'm sponsored by Be Transparent. And I'm going to continue to do that. And then I'm going to reach out and bring folks on the channel that can review products that I don't have enough time to get into, so that we can use this platform to share that with you guys. So tips, tricks, product reviews, and fishing trips. Like, I'm going to go fishing and share those adventures with you. What you get is going to be what you get. If I go out and struggle, you're going to see me struggle. If I go out and smash them, you're going to see me smash them. And here's one thing about that. I have gotten lazy, complacent, and I've done the minimums to get by. I'm not chasing big fish like I used to, because that was ego driven. But I also like to catch big fish. I like to fire people up about catching big fish. And I like to share the things that you got to do and the sacrifices you got to make to not catch any fish or many fish, but to catch big fish if you want to. So I'm about to start bringing you guys some of those big bass tactics, some of those big bass strategies, and doing more of those solo trips where it's easier to sneak up on a bass, because it's hard when you're filming a TV show, or you got even just an extra cameraman with you trying to get in there and show those big fish. So I'm going to focus a lot more on that. So in summary, you're going to see a new me. I'm hoping that you guys love what we bring to the table as much as I love bringing it to the table. I love to inspire and motivate people. I got away from that. I love to provide opportunities, but at the same time, as those opportunities happen, I let too much of what we accomplished feel like what I accomplished, and got a little full of myself. And I even look back on that dude, and if I saw that dude today, I would kick his ass. Okay. So I don't hate on anybody that hated on that guy. And I realize it's going to take several years to wash out the totality of it. But I also think that we all have to be big enough to admit when we're wrong. We all have to be big enough to make these adjustments and to understand that you don't have to dig your heels in on something just because you said it. If you come to the realization of what you said was hurtful or it was wrong or whatever, and I'm not saying going out and offer empty apologies. If you truly believe something in your heart and you did it and you still believe it in your heart, don't apologize. To me, that's disingenuous. Okay. But try to hear what the other people are saying. Don't believe too much of what the haters say, but also don't believe too much of what the lovers, the people that love what you do, say, because there's probably room on both ends for adjustment. And I think we have a certain tendency as human beings, I know I did, that when you start to get criticism, you say, oh, well, look at all these people over here that love what I'm doing. And you almost discredit it, and you do yourself a disservice, because if there's even a kernel or a grain of truth in something, you should address it and do the best you can to fix it and to become better and be the best you that you can be. So I just wanted to do this video to say that. It ain't gonna be easy. It's gonna be a rough ass couple months or few months or maybe even a year. But I'm I'm down for the fight. I'm down for the grind. I'm not afraid of work, never have been. And I've made that realization now that, like, I can't be a victim. Okay. And I can see now how easy it is, or how enticing it is, to adopt that mentality, which is going to give me a little bit better perspective. But if you see somebody going through that, then you can be that voice of reason that says, listen, man, I know that you're going through this, and I know that you're learning all these things about yourself, but just don't let yourself off the hook because somebody did something to you. Use that as the fire to fuel yourself to become a better person. And I think if you do that, you can be an inspiration to other people. You can motivate yourself. You can grab yourself by the back of the collar and pull yourself up out of it. Because, man, I ain't gonna lie to you guys, I was in it, drowning. And I didn't get out of it by myself. If it wasn't for some of my really close friends and some of you knuckleheads out there that care about me, I wouldn't be here right now. So again, guys, I didn't do this video to jump in the chats and play back and forth, because I really am trying to go be in the right mindset to do this award ceremony, make it about those anglers and give them their recognition. And there's going to be some big updates coming relatively soon, especially for the knucklehead stuff, putting together a team series and some other stuff that I think you knuckleheads are going to love. So in summary, I am asking for your help, but I'm also letting you know that I'm in a different place. So if you can consider doing it, pick up some KBF or knucklehead merch, join KBF, share this message with other people, convince other people to join. If each one of you guys, so if each one can reach one so we can teach one, we could double this community. And if we can double this community, we can do some really good things for conservation, for education, and for the camaraderie that we should all be enjoying instead of letting people tear us apart. You know, we need to focus on camaraderie, not cancer, not the things that are tearing us apart and eroding us from the inside. So I'm going to jump off of here because I got to head over to Chester Frost Park to do the award ceremony for the KBF Trail Series event. If you're in the Chattanooga area and you can make it out to Chester Frost area to the Shelter 1 today from 4 o'clock to about 5 o'clock, then by all means, swing by. I'd love to shake your hand. Love to say hey. And I just want to say love you guys. And I appreciate y'all being there for me. I will be putting a call out relatively soon, so start thinking about this. I'm putting a board of directors together to help me better run KBF. And one of the positions that I want to establish is a community liaison, somebody that's not necessarily in the industry, but can be a representative of the things that we do for the community to keep us honest for always putting the community first. So if you feel like that's a leadership position you would like to assume, be thinking about that, because when I put the call to action out for it, we're going to figure out a way to get applications, if you will, and we're going to be assigning somebody out of this group of knuckleheads as a community liaison member of our board. So love you guys. Appreciate y'all. And I will see you in the next video.